In 2018, a quiet 14-year-old girl from the United Kingdom walked onto the America's Got Talent stage, looking nervous and almost unsure of herself. Then the music started, and everything changed. Courtney Hadwin launched into Hard to Handle with a voice nobody expected to hear from someone her age. It was raspy, powerful, emotional, and completely fearless. Within seconds, the shy teenager had transformed into a commanding performer. The judges were stunned, the audience erupted, and Howie Mandel hit the golden buzzer. In one unforgettable moment, Courtney went from being an unknown teenager to one of the biggest talking points of the season. But what happened after that incredible audition was far more interesting than the audition itself. Her story was never really about becoming famous overnight. It was about figuring out what kind of artist she wanted to become, more than a viral moment. The reaction to Courtney's audition was enormous because her performance felt different from the polished, carefully rehearsed acts audiences had become accustomed to seeing on talent shows. There was something unpredictable about her. She didn't look like someone trying to impress the judges. She simply disappeared into the music. Her influences were clear, particularly artists such as Janis Joplin, Etta James, James Brown, and Led Zeppelin. Howie Mandel even compared her to Janis Joplin, a comparison that instantly gave people an idea of the musical territory Courtney seemed destined to explore. For a 14-year-old, that kind of recognition could easily have become overwhelming. Suddenly, millions of people had an opinion about who she was supposed to be. The challenge would be proving that the performance wasn't simply a remarkable television moment, the finale, and an unexpected result. As Courtney continued through the competition, expectations grew quickly. Many viewers assumed she could win the entire season. She had already captured the attention of the judges and developed a huge following. When the finale arrived, however, the result went another way. Magician Shin Lim took the top prize, while Courtney finished in the top 10. For some fans, the result felt disappointing because they had imagined her becoming the season's champion. Looking back, though, not winning may have been an important turning point. Courtney avoided being permanently defined as the winner of a reality television competition. Instead, she had the opportunity to figure out what came next, without carrying the expectations that often come with winning. Her AGT journey opened a door, but it didn't have to determine where she went afterward. The record deal. The music industry moved quickly after her television appearance. By December 2018, Courtney had signed with Arista Records under Sony Music, creating the impression that her professional career was about to explode. From the outside, everything seemed perfectly arranged. She had television exposure, a major label behind her, a distinctive voice, and an audience already waiting for new music. The obvious move would have been to release a single immediately, follow it with an album, and capitalize on the attention while it was still fresh. Instead, Courtney's career moved much more slowly. She relocated from the UK to the United States and began focusing on developing herself musically. For fans who expected an instant album or a constant stream of releases, the waiting period was confusing. But that silence became an important part of her story. Why she didn't rush Courtney was never an obvious fit for the traditional pop star formula. Her greatest strength was also the thing that made her difficult to categorize. She had a powerful rock and soul voice, but she wasn't trying to become another mainstream pop singer. Her musical heroes came from an era when personality, emotion, and individuality were central to an artist's identity. Courtney seemed determined to find that same sense of identity for herself. Instead of rushing into songs simply because the industry expected them, she took time to understand her sound. That decision can look strange in an industry where momentum matters so much, but releasing music too quickly can create its own problems. Courtney needed to show that she could be more than the teenager who shocked the AGT audience. She needed to grow into an artist whose music could stand on its own, leaving the major label path. Eventually, Courtney parted ways with Arista Records. From a conventional industry perspective, leaving a major label might appear to be a setback. For an artist who values independence, however, it can also represent freedom. Without a major label determining the direction of her career, Courtney had greater control over her music and the way she presented herself. That also meant taking on more responsibility. Independent artists have to think about recording, promotion, performances, social media, and connecting directly with listeners. There is no giant machine doing everything behind the scenes. Courtney's approach increasingly reflected that reality. Rather than trying to become an influencer or chase every online trend, she used social media primarily to share music, studio moments, performances, and updates. The focus remained on the artist rather than the celebrity, growing beyond the teenage sensation. By the time Courtney reached her 20s, one of the biggest challenges of her career had changed. At 14, her age was part of the story. Hearing such a huge voice come from such a young performer created an immediate sense of surprise. At 20, that surprise naturally became less important. Now the music itself had to carry the story. That is a much tougher test, but it is also a more meaningful one. Courtney had to prove that her talent wasn't dependent on being the youngest person in the room. She had to demonstrate growth, songwriting ability, emotional maturity, and consistency. Her later work suggested that she understood this. Rather than attempting to recreate the exact feeling of her AGT audition, she began building a sound that reflected where she was going rather than where she had been. The arrival of Spellbound. In February 2025, Courtney released Spellbound, another important step in that evolution. The track brought together the intensity that first made her famous with a more developed musical identity. There were clear pop-punk elements, but the foundation remained Courtney's powerful voice and emotional delivery. The story behind the song also reflected the creative process she had been building toward. It emerged organically during a studio session while she was working with producer Kevin B., rather than feeling like a song designed simply to satisfy a market. The accompanying music video, directed by Benjamin Bazelard and filmed in France, added another visual dimension to the release. For longtime followers, Spellbound felt less like an attempt to recreate the past and more like evidence that Courtney had finally grown into the artist people had glimpsed years earlier. The artist behind the audition. What makes Courtney Hadwin's journey compelling isn't simply the fact that she had an extraordinary audition. Plenty of talent show contestants have delivered incredible performances and then struggled to build careers afterward. Courtney's story is different because she appears to have resisted the temptation to turn one unforgettable moment into her entire identity. She kept developing, experimenting, performing, and searching for a sound that felt natural to her. Her influences remain rooted in rock, blues, soul, and powerful live performance, even as her newer material incorporates modern elements. She doesn't fit neatly into one box, and perhaps that's exactly why her career has taken longer to develop. The music industry loves simple labels. Courtney's strength has always been that she doesn't sound like everyone else. What comes next? Courtney's journey after America's Got Talent is ultimately a reminder that careers don't always develop according to the timeline audiences expect. The teenager who once stunned millions on television had every reason to chase immediate fame, yet she chose a slower and more personal route. That choice came with uncertainty, but it also gave her something that can't be manufactured: time to grow. Her music has evolved, her confidence has matured, and her identity as an artist has become clearer. Whether her future brings a major album, more singles, bigger performances, or an extensive tour, the most important thing is that Courtney is no longer simply the girl from that famous Golden Buzzer audition. She is an artist building her own story. And perhaps the most surprising part of her America's Got Talent journey is that the moment everyone thought was the beginning of her career was actually just the beginning of her becoming herself.